Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You know, they usually say the low quality videos are the most beneficial. So I hope that this is going to be the case. So I was going here over a book of grammar, and I came across a a thought, and we started going back and forth with my teacher, and I thought I would share with you guys. And it's the importance of learning the Arabic language from people from the Sunnah, people who their belief is I follow whatever Allah said in the Quran, whatever the Prophet ﷺ said, according to the understanding of the Sahaba. Right? So people from the Sunnah, people who are Salafi, people who are Sunni, whatever terminology you use for that sort of understanding. The reason why is because in the beginning, when you are learning, at the stage of, I would say, the whole program of Andalus Institute, like if you're going to learn Al-Arabiya bin Yadayk with a teacher, if you're going to learn Medina books with a teacher, in this stage is not too dangerous. But once you pass this stage and you start going over books like Al-Ajrumiyya, Mutammim Al-Ajrumiyya, Tuhfat Al-Saniyya, you go into Qadr Al-Nada, you go into Al-Alfiyya, you go into Mughni Al-Labib, etc., all the way until Al-Kitab. If the teachers you are learning from, they are not upon the Sunnah, it's going to be dangerous, and I'm going to explain now why. Now you see with Al-I'rab, what Al-I'rab is, which they usually translate in English as the syntax of a sentence, right? Al-I'rab means in the Arabic language to make something clear. أعرب الشيء يعني he made it clear. أعرب الرجل الشيء, the man made the thing clear. And so Al-I'rab, scholars of Al-Islam, many reports say starting with Abu al-Aswad al-Duwali, in the time of the Sahaba, he put down Al-I'rab to make the learning of the Arabic language easier for those who are not Arab, for those who didn't learn the Arabic language, an saliqah, meaning from their parents. Like their parents, they didn't speak Fusha, classical, Quranic Arabic. So now they had to learn it, which started about 100 years. Like after the Prophet ﷺ passed away, 100 years after, and some say 300 years after, but within that, they stopped learning the Arabic language. Like there was nobody learning Fusha Arabic, like the Quran level of Arabic, an saliqa, like from their parents. Even though, and this is a side note, okay, stay on this topic, but I'm going to give you a side note as another benefit. You need to understand as well that the Quranic level of Arabic wasn't spoken even by the Arabs themselves. Like the Sahaba, they weren't speaking in the level of Quran. Level of Quran is like, it's like in English when somebody gets in a, so imagine in English, right? Let's give a simple example. In English, when a politician gets on a mimbar and starts speaking, he's not speaking at the level he's speaking in the house with his family, right? So لكل مقام مقال. For each situation, there is a way of speaking. So the Quran level of Arabic is not the level that the Sahaba would speak with their wives, with their family in between them. That's why there's as well a topic in the field of the Arabic language, which is mukhtalaf fi, where they differ, when they talk about is the ahadith proof of in reference for the Arabic language, like is everything that the Sahaba spoke in the hadith that we have riwayat from, can we use it as proof? And so that shows you that the ulama, they don't see the level of Quran, because obviously the Quran, without a doubt, you can use it as yani the most source of eloquent Arabic. But the hadith, there is a ikhtilaf in there, because the Sahaba, they wouldn't speak all the time with the most eloquent of speech. And so hence why as well there is the known culture in the Arab culture, and I'm talking about the Arabs of the times of the Prophet and before the Prophet ﷺ, the pagans, which is the culture of poetry and the culture of eloquency. Naam, and from there you have aqwal, like for example Ibn Shabrama radiyallahu anhu, he says, or rahimahullah, both يعني يصح الاثنان, he says زين الرجال النحو وزين النساء الشحم, that the beauty of men is grammar and the beauty of women is their fat, the fat they have on their body. So a man is more, it brings more about respect when he speaks clearly and he's eloquent in his speech, and when he speaks is heavy because of the terminologies he uses and the topics he talks about. But for a woman, what men are attracted to is not her speaking in a more intelligent way, but it's mostly the way how she looks. So all of this to say that, from the finishing with the side point, is the Quran is the highest level of speech, and so when we talk about the Fusha Arabic, it's not necessarily everything, all the terminologies that we see in the Quran, but the Arabs, they will have terminologies that would be they use and would be Fusha, but they are not at the level of that level of Fusha. Now going back to our topic, which was al-i'rab. And al-i'rab is to make something clear. Tamam. And so if you are, in within al-i'rab itself, for one particular sentence, there could be different i'rabs sometimes. And it all depends based on what the person that said it meant. Tamam. So for example, if you see written ma ahsan Zaid, ma ahsan Zaid. Now, and you don't know the harakat here. Ma ahsan Zaid. It could be ta'ajjub, ma ahsana Zaidin. It could be like, wow, how good is Zaid. It could be ma ahsana Zaidun, which is, Zaid didn't do good at all. It could be ma ahsanu Zaidin. What is the best qualities of Zaid? And so now the Arab, al-majal, and the door is open for a bunch of different Arabs. Tamam. And it depends based on the context and what the person that said it meant, to know what is the correct i'rab, like what did he mean. And that's what i'rab is let's break down each word, what was the intent of it, to know what it meant. Now if we go to the Quran though, we cannot know technically what Allah Azza wa Jal intended, what he said. Naam, except if we apply the Sunnah, if we apply the correct Aqidah, the correct manhaj, which is you cannot interpret what Allah Azza wa Jal said on your own. You have to go back to the scholars, to the tafsir. You have to go back to how the Sahaba understood it themselves, how the Prophet ﷺ explained to us the ayat. Now, I mean, this is why the Sahaba, in many hadith, you will come across where they will ask him, what does this mean, Ya Rasulullah? Because they understood the Arabic language, it was their language, but it was such an eloquent speech that they had to ask the Prophet, what did Allah Azza wa Jal meant here? And then the Prophet ﷺ would explain it to them. And so, this is why it's dangerous, because, for example, if you now are from a sect like Al-Mu'tazila, who they tend to not accept certain qualities of Allah, like for example, they might say, no, Allah never spoke to Musa alayhi salam. In the ayah where Allah says, وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا, they will give you a different i'rab. They will say that that kallama means to speak, but that Musa is the fa'il, is the one that did the action, and that Allah would be the maf'ul bihi. Even though then taklima completely breaks that, because it's talking about is maf'ul mutlaq, which tells you and emphasizes on the actual verb of kallama, which is nam kallama taklima, like the actual taklim. And then Allah is here marfu', which is the fa'il. Nam, so they would try and change the i'rab for it to be convenient and align with their aqidah. Likewise, with for example, Allah's in Surah Al-Qiyamah, ila rabbiha nadhira. Now that the wujuh, the faces, they are going to look at Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, and so obviously they don't believe that you are going to be able to see Allah Azza wa Jal, and that is an aqidah issue. And this is what makes them from Al-Mu'tazila, and that's what makes them from being part of the 71 misguided sects. Now, the ones that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Kulluha fin nar," all of them in the hellfire except for one. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, the Sahaba asked, which one? And then the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said, those who believe in what we believed on today, or what we believed about today. Now, so those who are on the same manhaj, same aqidah of the Prophet ﷺ. And so with nadhira, they would give you a different i'rab. Now, the i'rab correct, which is according to the Sunnah, according to Ahl Sunnah, is ila rabbiha nadhira, is just a khabar of the jumla ila rabbiha, i.e. how are we going to be looking at Allah? Nadhira, with the actual nazar. They would say, no, this actually means al-i'rab here, and they would say is muntadhira li thawabiha, like just they are going to be like nadhirin, as in waiting for the reward of Allah, not nadhira bin nazar, as in literal. And this is why Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we just say what Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, with no explanation, with no interpretation, and without making similarities or linking with anything similar that we might know in this world. نعم وليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع العليم. There's nothing like him, like Allah Azza wa Jal. ليس كمثله شيء. And so you cannot say, even if they don't want to say that you are going to be able to see Allah Azza wa Jal, because they don't want to compare it to qualities of the human being. But Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah, we just say, Allah said that we are going to be able to see Him. So we don't say how, we don't over-explain, we don't overthink. That's just how He's going to be, and that's it. They want to get into the technicalities, no, because it's not possible, because, and they overuse their intellect and whatnot. So the point is, you need to learn from Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah the Arabic language, as we said, in the levels of العربية بين يديك and things like this, unless, you know, if you don't get too attached to your teacher, because that's another reality as well, if you don't get too attached to your sheikh, and your sheikh has whatever sort of aqidah or whatever sort of bad akhlaq or whatever it might be, if you don't get too attached, you should be fine. But as a general qaida, always learn from people of Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah, and inshallah you should be good. Okay guys, I have a meeting. I hope this was beneficial. Wa hayyakumullah. And if you guys let me know in the comments if that this was interesting, maybe we can make a video and go more in depth. Wassalamu alaikum.